Super Bowl hangover. This isn't uncharted territory as of recent for 49er fans, unfortunately, as well as the organization, as it happened and the 49ers were able to turn around and have a 12-4 year, and that didn't affect them at all. And here we go again. I'm bringing this up because national media, for whatever reason, wants to put this 49ers team into that Super Bowl hangover category. So let's look back from the year 2000. We're going to go back to the 20 previous Super Bowl defeats. So from 2000 to 2008, only 2 teams made the playoffs. So that's a 2 out of 9. That's not good. But let's look at the more recent trend, and this is where I get excited for this 49ers team. From 2000 to 2019, that's 11 teams total. 9 out of 11 have made the playoffs the following year. They've even won playoff games. And for the New England Patriots, they won a Super Bowl. And so that's where I get excited for this team is I believe they can get into the playoffs and they could win a playoff game and make it back to the Super Bowl. Because let me go ahead and examine the 2 teams out of the 11 past years that didn't make it. First, it's the Carolina Panthers. They went 15-1 in 2015. Made the Super Bowl, lost to the Broncos, of course, and then the following year they went 6-10. Well, the main reason that is they saw their MVP, Cam Newton, just decrease his play badly. So Cam Newton, as you can see here on the stats, it was not pretty in 2016 when they went 6-10, but keep in mind, 6 of those games were decided by 3 points or less. We're not saying one score. We're not saying a touchdown. Nothing of that fathom. 3 points or less. If they got a little better play out of Cam Newton, not MVP play, just a little bit better play, they could have flipped that script and went 10-6 and saw themselves back into the playoffs again. That didn't happen, of course. Next is the Los Angeles Rams. Well, with the Rams, they finished above 500. They had 7 starters leave the team coming into last season. So 7 starters from that Super Bowl team were not there last season. And on top of that, if the season happened, what happened this season, I'm talking about 7 playoff teams. If there were 7 playoff teams last season, the Rams would have been the 7th seed and they would have made the playoffs. Yeah. Then we would be talking about 1 team that didn't make it over the past 11 years. And for whatever reason, 49ers have been getting a lot of negative comments for having this Super Bowl or bust mentality. I'm not going to name who. I'm sure we know the main person that's driving that train saying, why are the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan talking about this? That's the mentality they should absolutely have. I would be worried if they weren't talking about getting back to the Super Bowl. But they have that revenge tour mentality, and that's what can get them over this Super Bowl hangover. And I don't think they will see a Super Bowl hangover. And I'll say that because they have 19, unlike the Rams, they have 19 returning starters. That's 19 out of 22. That's solid. You lost 3 starters. 1 is Emmanuel Sanders. You replaced him with Brandon Ayuk, who looks fantastic. 2 is Mike Person, who did not help in that Super Bowl at all. If anything, it was negative having him on the field. So that's an upgrade, regardless who's playing there. And then lastly is DeForest Buckner. Yes, I believe they're going to see that early on in the season, but this defense is stacked. DeForest Buckner loss isn't going to take them from Super Bowl to not even in the playoffs. So let's be real. He's a great player. He's an all-pro. He's a Pro Bowler, but he does not. A 3-tech is not taking someone from Super Bowl to completely out of the playoffs. It's not happening. And then lastly, they said they were a year ahead last season. So if they were a year ahead last season, why would they not make the playoffs the following year? When this is supposed to be their year to playoff contend. Not last season. It was this year. So why would they just be completely missing the playoffs if they were a year ahead? If anything, the media should be saying 49ers are making the Super Bowl. And that's what I'm doing here. And they have the best roster in the NFC West on paper. Absolutely. You can't even Bait me on that. Best roster in the NFC West on paper. Absolutely. And on top of that, from what I've seen coming out of all camps from the NFC West, they're the most hungry to win the division, win the conference, and win the Super Bowl. They are the most hungry team to do that. So best roster plus drive, that's going to lead to success. 81% of teams made the playoffs the past 11 years after losing the Super Bowl. And I see the 49ers increasing that percentage by winning the NFC West, making the playoffs, and continuing that revenge tour throughout the playoffs. Sports Illustrated, all 49ers. This is Leo.